except that there's like, last time we didn't have last Friday night when we didn't have a dinner, which would have been, this is the first dinner, last Friday night, which I guess was the end of January, we didn't have a dinner. I don't know why, I can't remember. Oh, because it was canceled, just didn't have enough interest. But we still had a service, but we only had like not 8 people. So we didn't do Mourner's, thank you. So we didn't do Mourner's Kaddish or, you need a minion to do Kaddish and have a repetition of Yamina and to Nazarene Torah. But short of that,
Still carry on.
yeah, still carrying on. I still sang, and I, just 8 people.
I don't know, I was there.
That was about 8 people, right?
Yeah, I was there.
I don't know whether it's, I never.
But we were supposed to have 33 people.
Thought it was a mess.
So a lot of people made reservations. So if that's the case, people, that may commit it, even have them fall out.
So I thought, oh my God, when I came in, I thought, that phone call that I missed, they probably cancelled it. You the number 3, I'm telling them, I was the first, I'm 85 years old, I've never been first for anything. So I should get good start.
I'm gonna walk out of my house and all of a sudden we get a job.
Oh, yeah, it was coming.
I'm one of those who say,
Yeah, you know this after.
yeah. Have you heard that saying before?
Yes, I have.
Shabbat shalom.
I thought it was just an English one.
No, I've heard it.
Which you have to,
How long did it take you to get here?
Well, I've been actually here for a while because I had some things to take care of in the area. So
maybe
it
you
wasn't so
start
bad.
a bit late.
It would have been ridiculous if I had to leave,
Did it start a bit late?
What freeway did you take?
5. Well, it depends. Sometimes I take the toll road and
Yeah, I was coming up to Newhall and it was all flooded. Yeah. Santa Ana gets flooded all the time in the roads. The drains are terrible.
I think Anaheim was pretty bad.
I'll tell you what time do you have? Let's see what time we
I
have.
don't know.
5:58.
5:58? Yeah, I know. Let me say Shabbat Shalom to those of you who might be joining us on the live stream. That's probably a Shabbat Shalom to those of you who braved the weather and are joining us tonight. It's good to see you. Shabbat Shalom.
I know they have it on one of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I get a Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, we're not gonna do that. We're going to wait a minute. We almost have a minion, actually, which is nice. It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we can start.
We were expecting a lot of people. We'll see how many people show up. We'll see who wins, Mother Nature or. Oh, brutal. Oh, yeah.
My man's only a little car, not a big car. Something like that.
How was the traffic dropping? Were you already up here?
I was up here for a while. Yeah, I had something to take care of. It worked out for me well.
Oh, you did.
Well, I know we have a minion now. I can see our speaker just walked in the door, so we have a minion. All right, let's see. David, what time is it? Do you know?
I did not know.
6 o'clock?
I did not wear a watch.
All right, it's 6 o'clock. I want to congratulate those of you who braved the rain to be here, especially on time, which is coming. I respect that because I am not the most punctual person, as you all probably know. Believe it or not, I'm here, though. You must have been surprised. Okay, well, let's begin with Kabbalat Shabbat, and then after our spirited davening, we'll gather together for some nice dinner, okay? But we begin Kabbalat Shabbat. Why don't we just kind of warm ourselves up, both figuratively and literally, by singing Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei, Malchei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, page 13. V'achem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Malchei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Malchei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Malchei Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's turn to page 14. Let's do something a little different this evening. Let's sing the first verse of Yedid Nefesh. We'll sing it like this. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Mishal Avdach, El Rizonach, Ishdachaveh, El Muhadarach, Yaruz Avdach, Yaruz Avdach, Ishdachaveh, El Muhadarach. It's a tune I remember from my youth, so I just thought I'd share it with you. Now we'll begin the several psalms leading up to the Chadodi, beginning on page 15 with Psalm 95. It goes something like this. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzoi shenu, mikad mahavana bitoda. Naria, naria, litzoi shenu, bizmira naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Why don't we read Psalm 95 responsibly together in the English? Page 15. Let us sing to Adonai. Let us rejoice in our Creator. Let us greet God with thanksgiving, singing psalms of praise. In God's hand rests the world he fashioned, sea and land, abyss and mountain peak, all are God's.
Let us worship Adonai, exalt our Creator, our God. We are the flock guided by God. Help is ours even today. If only we would listen to his divine voice.
Harden not your heart in the way of your ancestors, who tried and tested me in the wilderness, even though they had witnessed my miracles.
40 years of contending with the generation. Their labor.
In indignation, therefore, did I vow, never would they reach my land, the land of peace, the land of rest. Arbaim shana gud bidar, v'omar am to'eli v'avim v'im le'adu derachai, asher nishbati v'yapi, yimi v'un el menuchati. We turn now to page 16. Join me at the bottom of the page, 4 lines from the bottom, and we sing together. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'dagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, u'melach. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, u'melach. Galosa da bechol asher bo, asir barnu kol atzir, livnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishbat haaretz, yishbat tevel b'tzedek, v'amim b'emunato. We turn to page 17 at the bottom of Psalm 97. Light is stowed for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Rejoice in Adonai, you who are righteous. Acclaim the holiness of God's name. Or cross in the Hebrew. Or zaru ala tzadi, uleish v'leiv simcha, Kol zaru ala tzadik, uleish velev simcha. Simcha tzadikim b'Adonai, ve'hodu lezecher gadol. Simcha tzadikim b'Adonai, ve'hodu lezecher gadol. Let's turn to page 18, or Psalm 98. What I like to do on the Hebrew is sing from the middle of the page, a little melody that I composed. Actually, I performed it here for the first time at one of our many concerts. So it's about 6 lines. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7, about eight words down. Pitzchu v'rananu v'zameru. An interesting thing about this melody is instead of going to the bottom of the page, we actually move to the line above it. That's where the chorus is. Hariu l'Adonai. It goes like this. Pitzchu v'rananu, rananu v'zameru, zamru l'Adonai b'chinor. Pitzchu v'ranenu, ranenu v'zameru, zamru l'Adonai b'chinor, b'chinor v'kol zimra, b'chazotot v'kol shovar, hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz, b'chinor v'kol zimra, b'chazotot v'kol shovar, hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz. Pitzchu v'ranenu, ranenu v'zameru, zamru l'Adonai b'chinor. Pitzchu v'ranenu, ranenu v'zameru, hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishbot haaretz, yishbot tevel b'tzedek, v'amim b'mei sharim. Let's read responsibly on page 19, Psalm 99. I'll have you take the outer verse and I'll take the inner verse. So on the count of 3, please begin. 1, 2, 3. Adonai is great in Sion, exalted over all peoples. Let them praise God, for God is awesome, holy. Exalt Adonai our God, worship God who is holy. They zealously strove to obey the divine law, even when God's decrees were beyond their grasp. Stole Adonai and bowed toward God's holy mountain. Adonai our God is holy. At the bottom of page 19. Romebu Adonai Eloheinu ve'dachavu le'har kodsho. Romebu Adonai Eloheinu ve'dachavu le'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemeh. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemeh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'dachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'dachavu le'har kodsho. And now I invite you to rise, if you can, on page 20, and we'll sing together the very familiar Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim. Havul Adonai, Kavod v'hoz, Havul Adonai, Kivod Shemo, Hishtachavul Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, El hakavod yihirim, Adonai hamayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'akoach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover harazim, Vaishaber Adonai edarze halavanon, Vayarkidim kamo egel levanon, Vesirion gibaho venreimim, Kol Adonai chod lavodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai Yecholel. Vayechesav Yarod. Uvehecha halaha. Kula Omer Kavod. Adonai Lamabu Yahashav. Yishev Adonai Melech Leolam. Adonai Ad Li'amo Yidin. Adonai Yivarech Edama V'Shalom. Please be seated. We turn now to page 21. This evening we're going to sing Lachad Odi. And let's go ahead. We'll take the whole thing. Let's try it like this. Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela. Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela. Shahamor V'Zachor B'Dibor Echad Hishmiyanu Ela Miyuchad Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad L'Shem V'Tiferet V'Litila Lechad Odi Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lichad Shabbat Lechu V'Nelcha Ki Megora Beracha Merosh Migedem Nesucha Sov Maaseh B'Machashava Techila Lechad Odi Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Mihikdash Melech Melucha Kul Mitzi Midocha Avecha Rav Lach Shevet Be'emek Habacha V'hu Yachmol Alayichem La Lechad Odi Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Hinari Me'afar Kumi Vivshi Bigdei Divardech Ami Hayad Ben Yishai B'Dalachimi Karva Nafshi Ge'Allah Lechad Odi Lechad Odi Lichad Gala Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Hitoreri Kiva Orechu Ori Shira Beheri Kivod Adonai Alayich Nigla Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela Lechad Odi Lichad Gala B'nei Shabbat Nikabela. We rise, face the rear of the sanctuary to greet the Sabbath Queen as we sing the last paragraph on page 22. Bo'hi v'shalom ha'ated bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzahala, toch emonei abzigula, bo'ichala, lechad Odi, lechad Odi lichad gala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela, lechad Odi lichad gala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. You be seated. We turn now to page 23. Let us read responsibly Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God. Your Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish, all the wicked shall crumble. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They will thrive in the courts of our God. Four lines from the bottom of page 23. Tzadi gadamar yira ki eretz v'Libanon is gashetulim beved Adonai v'chazrot Eloheinu Yarichu Adinu V'Seiva Dishenim V'Rananim Yehu Lehagir Ki Yashar Adonai Turi, Velo Avladamo. We read together on page 24, Psalm 93 in the Hebrew. Adonai Malach, Geyut Lavish, Lavish Adonai Oz Hitazar, Aftikon Tevel Baal Timot, Nachon Kisacha Me'az, Me'olam Ata, Nasu'un Harod Adonai, Nasu'un Harod Kolam, Yisun Harod Dochyam, Mi Kolot Mayim Rabim, Adiri Mishpereyam, Adir Bamarom Adonai, Edotecha Ne'emnu Ma'od, Levetecha Na'ava Kodesh Adonai, L'orech Yamim. And now I invite those observing a yurt site, reciting Mourner's Kaddish, to please rise and recite the Mourner's Kaddish together on the bottom of page 24. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah bi'olma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yit adar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudisha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbichata v'nechemata, ta'amiran bi'olma v'imru, amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'maromav, v'yaseh shalom, Aleinu, V'yal Kol Yisrael, V'yimru. I now invite all of you to rise as we turn for the Baruch Hu on page 28. Baruch Hu en Adonai HaMevarach. Baruch Adonai HaMevarach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. Let's join together in the first blessing before the Shema. Let us read together on the top of page 28 in the English. Praised are you, Adonai our God, who rules the universe. Your word bringing the evening dusk. You open with wisdom the gates of dawn, design the day with wondrous skill, set out the succession of seasons, and arranged the stars in the sky according to your will. Adonai Tzivaot, you create day and night, rolling light away from darkness, and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your sovereignty shall forever embrace us. Praised are you, Adonai. Ma'avil mehivi laila, ma'avil ben amuvein laila, Adonai Tzvaot Shema, Elachai v'kayam, Tamidim lachaleinu elam va'ed, Baruch Adonai, Amari Bravim. We sing together on page 29. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha avda Torah u'mitzvot chugim u'mishpatim otanu limadida Hoken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachleinu u'v'gomenu naseach b'chugecha ahavat olam v'nismach b'divrei Torah u'v'mitzvotecha le'alam ba'ed kihem chayenu ve'arech yameinu u'vahem nege yomam v'layla Yahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha avda Torah u'mitzvot chugim u'mishpatim otanu limadida Haken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachleinu u'v'kumenu naseach b'chugecha ahavat olam v'yahavatecha al taseh mimenu li'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Baruch Shemo Ohev Hamo Yisrael Ohev Hamo Yisrael Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavda Torah u'mitzvot chugim u'mishpatim otanu limadida Haken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachleinu u'v'kumenu naseach b'chugecha ahavat olam naseach b'chugecha ahavat olam. Page 30. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'ahaveta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha V'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadivarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinadam levanecha v'dibahar tabam v'shivdecha b'beitecha v'lechlecha b'derech shochvecha v'kumecha v'gishardam lehoda yadecha Vaylet adavot beinenecha u'chedavdam amzuzahot beitecha v'vishe'arecha v'haya im shamati yishmir tzatay shadachim v'tzaveh kameim Adonai Elohechem Emet. I'd like to continue this evening on page 32. Let's read responsively, sentence by sentence, in the English. I'll begin. We affirm the truth that Adonai alone is our God, and that we are God's people, Israel. God has maintained us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, guided us to triumph over mighty foes, and exalted our strength over all our enemies, vindicating us with miracles before Pharaoh, with signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. When God's children beheld the divine might, they sang in praise, gladly accepting God's sovereignty. Who is like you, Adonai, among all that is worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? This is my God, they proclaimed. Adonai shall reign through all the time. And thus it is written, Adonai has rescued Jacob. God redeemed him from those more powerful. Praised are you, Adonai, Redeemer. Join me in the middle of page 32. Micha mocha ba'ilim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora d'ilad azei veleh. Micha mocha ba'ilim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora d'ilad azei veleh. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bohokei hayam livnei Moshe, zeili anu ve'amiru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar gifad Adonai Yaakov, u'galam yad chazak mimenu, Baruch Adonai, God Israel. For the Hashkivenu this evening, let's read together in the English on the left, the bottom paragraph, a poem by Jules Harlow. Creator of peace, compassionate God, page 33, guide us to a covenant of peace with all your creatures, birds and beasts, as well as all humanity, reflection of your image with compassion and peace. Give us strength to help sustain your promised covenant, abolishing blind strife and bloody warfare, so they will no longer devastate the earth, so discord will no longer tear us asunder. Then all that is savage and brutal will vanish, and we shall fear evil no more. Guard our coming and our going, now toward waking, now toward sleep, always within your tranquil shelter. Beloved are you, sovereign of peace, whose embrace encompasses Jerusalem, the people Israel, and all humanity. For us, Aleinu, Sukkot, Sukkot, Shalom Echa, Uviros, Aleinu, Sukkot, Sukkot, Shalom Echa, Baruch Adonai, Aparei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'yakol Amo Yisrael, V'Yerushalayim. I invite you to rise on page 34 for Vishamru and the Chatzi Kaddish. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם. והנה בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינבש, שבת וינבש, שבת וינבש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם. יתגדל ויתגדל שמי רבה, והלמד יברך רותי והמלך מלכותי, בחייך וביומך ובחייך בית ישראל, פגלה פגלה ובזמן קריב אמרהו. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולם אלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי קדושה לעילא מגביר ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו Amen. Our Beth Emet begins on page 35A or B. We recite this in silence to its conclusion in the middle of page 38. this evening. Let's take a moment and sing a song about peace. Let's turn to page 44. Give a chance to rest before we rise again. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol ed ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. I invite you to rise. We turn to page 47 for the singing of Vayochulu. Vayochulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chotzevam. Vayochulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chotzevam. Vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachno asher asa. Vayishbon bayom hashvi'i michu melachno asher asa. Yai bidi bidi bye bye bye, yai bidi bidi bye bye bye, yai bidi bidi bye 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 bye, yai bye 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 bye, yai bidi bye bye bye, yai bidi bye bye, yai bidi bye 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 bye. Vayvarech Elohim edom hashvi'i vayikadish adagiva givad mikom elachna asher bara Elohim la'asot. Yai bidi bidi bye bye bye, yai bidi bidi bye bye bye, yai 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 bidi bye, yai bidi bye 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 bye. You may be seated. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Hayel Gadol Hagibor V'Hadnara El Elyon Ganei Shamayim Va'aretz Magen Avad B'Divaro Mechayim B'Div V'Ma'amarav Magen Avad B'Divaro Mechayim B'Div V'Ma'amaro Hayel HaGadol Shein Kamo Haminiach Le'amo B'Yom Shabbat Godshal B'Yom Shabbat Godshal Shabbat Godshal Magen Avad B'Divaro Mechayim B'Div V'Ma'amarav Magen Avad B'Divaro Mechayim B'Div V'Ma'amaro V'Ma'amaro. I'm sorry, I lost my place. Kivam Hara'atzah Akivam Matalani Achlahem Lefanam Enavon Lefanam Navon B'Hira B'Vachad V'Nodem Elishemam V'Nodem Elishma B'Chol Yom David V'Nodem Elishma B'Chol Yom Tamid Me'yin HaBirachad V'Nodem Elishma B'Chol Yom Tamid Me'yin HaBirachad HaBirachad Magen Avad B'Divaro Mechayim B'Div V'Ma'amarav Magen Avad B'Divaro Mechayim B'Div V'Ma'amarav El HaHodot Adon HaShalom Mekadesh HaShabbat U'Mevarech Devi U'Meniach HaBegedosh Oleyam Perushenei Aneg Zecher L'Maseh למעשה וראשית וראשית מגן אבות בדברו מחיים מתים במאמרו מגן אבות בדברו מחיים מתים במאמרו. Let it sink in, let it sink in. We turn to page 48. Let's read together the top paragraph of the page together. Our God and God of our ancestors, find favor in our Shabbat rest. Instill in us the holiness of your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness, and gladden us with your triumph. Cleanse our hearts so that we might serve you faithfully, lovingly and willingly, Adonai our God. Grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, so that the people Israel who hallow your name will always find rest on this day. Praise to you, Adonai, who hallow Shabbat. I invite you to rise for Kaddish Shalem, followed by Kiddush and Aleinu. Yitgada v'yigada shemei rabba v'halmadi v'rachdei v'yamlich machdei v'chayichonu v'yomeichon v'chayidcha b'ed Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'yimeru yesh mei rabba mivarach li'olam alme olmaya yidbarach 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 v'ishtabach v'idbarach v'tamam v'naseh v'dadar v'daleh v'talal shemede kudisha l'ila min kabir l'chada v'shirata tishbechata v'nechamata damira me'olema v'yimeru Tekabat alodon v'odon necho Yisrael Kadam avodi v'shmaya v'yimeru Yesh lamaraba mi'en shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimeru Oseh shalom v'yimrahomav v'hoyazeh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen. Do you want to do it in here or out there?
We should do it by the table, I think.
Well, I'm going to do it here anyway. So.
Okay. I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Only because not everybody stays.
I see. Gotcha. Savri Chaverai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uv'ratzon hinechilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tefila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim ki banu
Yadanu Yidashta Mikomim V'Shabbat Kodshecha V'Yava Uv'Ratzon Hinchaltanu
Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shema
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. We remain standing for Aleinu, page 51. Aleinu l'shabeach lanu rachol, latignu lanu zereshit, shelo atzanu k'nei ratzon, v'lo zamanu k'mifechot adama, shelo samtel genugahem, v'gohor aleinu kechol hamonah, v'anachnu korim, u'lishachavim u'molim, lifnei melech, malchei hamelachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noten shamayim ve'yosei haaretz, v'majavim ha'ol v'shamayim v'ma'al, v'shin ha'tuzo, v'shin ha'tuzo, v'gaveh meromim, hu Eloheinu eino חגגתי בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני, למלך על הארץ, ויאמרו, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
You may be seated. Well, just want to acknowledge the Yortsites in the community this week, and I have 3 myself, so I'll add some names. We're going to remember Albert Levy, Hannah Esther Rottenberg, Betty Tabak, Lena Weiner Friedman, Shirley Gowala, Paul Haberman, C. Peter Polland, Jack Shapiro, Louis Sherman, Ida Weiner Simons, Louis Strizak, my mother Jeanette Tilchin, and my uncle Isidore Katz, Joe Fox, Henriette Friedman, Nathan Messenkoff, Emmanuel Nathan, Irving George Rabin, Edie Feldman, Joseph Greenblatt, Isidore Polland, Theodore Starrow, Faye Stebelman, David Bielos, Gertrude Brookler, Harry Lyons, Abraham Schwartz, Barnett Sokol, Phoebe Sokol, Mary Soraki, Harry Turfansky, Maurice Brandstatter, Edith Farber, Annette Feldman, Henrietta Jackman, Michael Kaplan, Isaac Kessler, Lester Rodman, Nathan Silverberg, Cheshmat Zahavian, my grandmother Ida Katz, Dr. John Blake, Paul Cohen, Leon Cutler, Lena Manowitz, and Rose Ella Rubin. Are there other Yortsites in the coming week to acknowledge? I invite all those who are saying Kaddish and remembering loved ones in their year of mourning to please rise as we share together. Yitgadal, V'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
V'alma, Divrach, Hirute, V'yamlich Malchute, V'chayechon, U'v'yomechon, U'v'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agala, U'v'zman Kariv, V'imru.
Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam Olmei Olmaya.
Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yithalal, Shemei Dekudisha,
Richu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
May be seated briefly. Thank you. Thank you, David, for coming. That is such a beautiful custom that you have here when you stand next to someone who's saying Kaddish. I've always appreciated it, but I really appreciated it just now. It was so beautiful. Thank you. Just a few thoughts to set us on for this Shabbos. First of all, last week we celebrated President's Day, and I read several interesting articles about Jews and President's Day. And even though it was last week, it was Monday, so we're sort of like still in the week. And I'll share it with you now, which is that, it's actually a very Jewish thing to have a day, like a President's Day, where we actually honor the legacies of all American presidents. It started off as a remembrance of Washington's birthday. It was expanded to Washington and Lincoln. I know you all know this, but and then in 71, when it sort of became a National Monday holiday, it sort of, in most places, spread out to just honor the office of the presidency. And we do that as Jews 3 times a day. Everything we do is bezechut avot, under the merit of our ancestors. And the truth is, those who have held the highest office are represent, because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are only aren't only the great people in the Torah, we just sort of list them, but it's all of our, our legendary ancestors and the people in the Tanakh that we refer to and learn from and study over and over again. And so too with our America's greatest leaders, that we sort of honor them. So there's a very sort of Jewish notion embedded in that we don't have President's Day every day, but the idea that it even comes is sort of feels like has its roots in some of our practices. Second thing is that when people think about America's sort of greatest presidents like Washington and Lincoln, both of them distinctly had relationships with Jewish communities. Unusual, particularly Washington. I know you all know this, but Lincoln had a number of close Jewish friends, which was really unusual. And this is back in the day, right? Before there was a huge population, and when there were anti-Semitic actions in his time, he fought against that. And Scott talked a little bit about that last week at a Shabbat luncheon. But at the same time, tomorrow is. And I just want to, I'm sure you all know this, but tomorrow is a day of hate. It has been something that has been sort of sponsored by a few extremist fringe groups, and all that it's definitely seated in the state of Iowa, but everywhere people who have access to social media are celebrating tomorrow that there's going to be aggressive anti-Semitic behavior wherever they can find it. And they're encouraging people to hang banners and scare people and do graffiti and not acts of violence, but they believe that somebody from one of these extremist groups was the person who shot the people in LA, so recently. So I just wanted to, just share a few things. You can learn more about this than I can share with you now. But in the face of a threatened day of hate, ADL urges allies to join in a Shabbat of peace. And they're doing a whole campaign. I'm so proud of it. It's called #Shabbat of Peace. And so it's on Twitter and whatnot. But just know that white supremacist groups attempting to organize anti-Semitic activities as part of the so-called National Day of Hate this coming weekend they're calling for us all to have a Shabbat of peace, which is now and tomorrow. We want to share that message of unity, and there's the exact activities of white supremacist campaigns are not known. Seattle is doing a huge, the police are out in force, even though nothing's been stated. Also in New York, also in Chicago, and I'm sure in Los Angeles, every synagogue is going to be, on high alert. And I was, you don't need to hear about what hate means, to us. We know that. What I can't get over is that I don't remember this in my entire lifetime. Like the fact that it's just like the Band-Aid has been ripped off, and it's like, let's talk about our Jew hatred publicly everywhere is so different. And, I always, want to see a silver lining. And one of the things is again, it's no secret to a person who's been Jewish all their life that Jew hatred has never gone away. But it was couched in the closet for a long time, certainly the majority of my lifetime. But I think it's important for all of us to know it's not gone. And that, if we're in the wrong place at the wrong time, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, we hope that we do everything we can to be safe and smart. We live in a country that that shuns this kind of behavior, and we should all be grateful, for that tremendous gift. And to know, I love the idea that we should all be proud of our Judaism, celebrate Shabbat as we do every week. Nobody sings like you guys. It's just so beautiful. You sing your hearts out tomorrow, louder than ever, and just know that we're here to love and protect each other and to befriend those who understand that hatred against the Jews is really hatred against everybody. It just doesn't look that way sometimes all the time. But it's our job to sort of spread goodness and love. And I want to wish you in that vein a Shabbat of love and a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Announcements?
Yeah, in fact, you have a long thing here. A lot of announcements.
Lou's a master editor. I'll cut that down to like 3.
And that's true. There is a lot going on. Thank you for those words, by the way, Marcia. You know, I was not aware of that Day of Hate thing, and I got a call this afternoon, actually from Dina Berman, to remind me that this was on social media. So thank you for speaking on it. We all need to be on guard and aware, and you know, let people know that this is not acceptable behavior. Okay, coming up events. I guess there's no chance now. Is the deadline passed for getting your Hummintashen? Well, maybe. Okay, so I hope you all got your Hummintashen orders in. If you're desperate, call the office on your first opportunity next week. Maybe they'll be able to help you out. So I know.
Or maybe one of us will sell a bag of Hummintashen here for 3 times the price.
There you go. What a great idea, isn't
You
it?
can bootleg the Hummintashen, that would be so
So we will be, and that Hummintashen you've ordered is available for pickup on March 5th between 12 and 3 on March 5th. And at that same time, the gift shop is open. So stop by, look at the stuff out here, and pick out some things you really want. Yeah, you got Purim and Pesach coming up. Speaking of which, we're having a free spaghetti dinner here at 6:30 on March 6th with the Megillah reading at 7:15, so you want to join us for that. Then on Tuesday morning, we have a morning service of Megillah reading at 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday the 7th. Let's see. You can still get your Passover greetings in if you contact the office, so please do that. Guess what? We're going to be rolling the clocks. Let's see. Which way are we going? Forward or back? We're going forward. So we're going to lose an hour, but we get a little sunshine. So hopefully. And by the way, I want to thank all of you, commend all of you who braved the elements to be here today. That was really, really nice. Okay, so let's see. There's a Men's Club Shabbat coming up on March 18th. And then we're reprising for the second time another once beloved event that we used to have here. We're having bingo, sponsored by the Women's League, 2 p.m. on March 19th. So join us for that. And then also, this date is wrong, but we will have our community Seder here on the first night of Pesach. So please get your reservations in for that. And anyway, if you check your emails, you check all the flyers that are out in the multi-purpose room, you'll be able to stay up on what's going on here. And also, if you're interested, and I hope you are, we're planning in the fall a trip to Israel. Please talk to Jenny Levy about joining us on that trip. We've got Rabbi Joe Mendelson lined up to lead the trip, and so it should be just a wonderful event. And check with Jenny Levy on that. And with that, I'll say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Lou. We're going to conclude our service. Do you have something you'd like to share?
just a yeshikah to use that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. To you too. We're going to conclude our service on page 53 with Yigdal, and afterward we'll retreat to the multi-purpose room for dinner. And we will be singing Shalom Aleichem and Kiddush and Amotzi before we eat in the multi-purpose room as well. Page 53. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach nivtza v'yehinei el metziuto chad v'yen yachid k'yichudo melam insof le'yach Elo demudagu v'yeinagu v'lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon l'chol davar asher nivra Rishon v'gid reishi l'reish Yedo adon olam lecho na'otzar yoreh gedulata u'machudo tefan v'uato nidano Ela anshe segulata v'tiv Lo kam Yisrael gimoshet navi u'mavi et emunato Torah demet natan li'amoel Ayah nivi aneman Lo yachal Yifa'el velo yamirata li'olamim l'zulato Sofev yodeya sitarenu Mabit l'sof davar bekad Gomel ish chesed kimi v'alo Noten l'rashara krishato ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות בחגיגת ישועתו. מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. Shabbat Shalom.